Welcome to Capital Tiger Bay. It's a wonderful, warm summer June afternoon in Tallahassee, Florida. And we have a full house, and I'm going to give credit for that because of our guest speaker and candidate for governor, Congresswoman Gwen Graham. Seated, just to make sure that we recognize him, is Gwen's husband, Steve Herm. Steve, stand up and say hello to everybody. I have some announcements I need to make. First of all, I should say this just in case you don't know. Maybe you don't know. I'm Gil Ziffer. I'm a Tallahassee City Commissioner. I'm also first Vice President for Capital Tiger Bay Club, which is the reason why I will be doing these announcements. Here we go. Our next 3 meetings are scheduled, and you'll get notices on these. For July 12th, we'll have City Commission Seat 3 Candidate Forum. July 25th, my current seat, City Commission Seat 5 Candidate Forum. And August 8th, Tallahassee Mayor Candidates Forum. Got a lot coming up. Just a quick comment on one of the mayoral candidates, Dustin Daniels, who's not here. Evidently, Dustin, according to the Supervisor of Elections website, is also serving as his own treasurer. That's true. And that is unusual. Evidently, he did reach out to Adam Corey, but Adam had to decline since he's not exactly sure where he'll be spending his time over the next few months or years. Regarding Leon County seats, we're actually going to wait until qualifying ends to even discuss it. After all, with 1 week to go before the end of qualifying, there's really no telling what seats Rick Miner or Emily Fritz might actually end up running for. So we're going to give them another week. Don, please come up and introduce our guest speaker. Thank you.
Let me begin by admitting that I'm a 40-year Graham supporter. I came of age in Florida politics here at FSU when Bob Graham was the serious policy wonk from Miami Lakes. At that time, Bob Graham was corny, a little goofy, singing a song about his campaign, but he was giving out graham crackers, something we don't have here. I am a sucker for carbs, and I fell in love immediately. Bob Graham left office with an 85% approval rating. By the way, Gwen's grandfather, Cap Graham, also ran for governor of Florida in 1944. He did not give out graham crackers. He lost. Just saying.
Somebody get me a graham cracker.
But Cap also did not do work days. I think it was 1977, 1978. I'm either starting law school, but I'd worked in politics a while. I'd run a state senate campaign. I was this big activist guy, and I was very honored when State Senator Graham asked me to meet with him, and he ran this idea by a few of us of doing work days, taking regular jobs, working side by side with Florida citizens to learn about their needs and expectations and their lives. He asked me what I thought. I told him it was a stupid idea. He used it anyway and never lost an election. I see Gwen is making the same mistake, using work days in her campaign. Anyway, our next governor.
And guess what? I have a graham cracker for Don. I'm going to put it on his jacket. It's great to be here. I really appreciate this opportunity to be with Tiger Bay today. Yay! Yes! I look out in the audience and I see so many friends. So many friends. Many of you were with me in 2014 when I ran for Congress. And you know that this was not something I ever planned on doing. I never saw my life in public service. For those of you who were in high school with me, Rocky Hanna, I was not writing in my high school yearbook, Gwen Graham for anything. But in 2014, when I made the decision to run for Congress, it was because I recognized that we needed people to step forward who could bridge the divide that we've seen too frequently today in our politics and too many areas across our state. There's negativity and ugliness and divide, but we need to find a way to bring people back together again. So I ran for Congress in 2014, committed to working with the very large congressional district from Tallahassee on the eastern side, over to Panama City on the western side, up to the Alabama-Georgia border, and down to the Gulf of Mexico, all 14 counties. We went everywhere. And though at the time, and many of you in this room probably remember, nobody gave me a chance to win. As a matter of fact, some of the top political reporters in the state were betting against me. Well, guess what? No one will bet against me now. No one will bet against me. So the decision to run for governor was one that I made because I know that we need this same approach to state government. We have got to find a way to start bridging the divide and bringing people together again to make the decisions for the state of Florida that are in the best interest of the people of Florida and the state of Florida. So every single election, right? We all know this is true. Every single election you hear, this is the most important election ever. Guess what? This is the most important election ever. Because there are so many issues that the state of Florida faces that if we don't have a governor back in Tallahassee that's committed to doing what's right for the people of Florida, we're going to go over that cliff and we're not going to be able to pull ourselves back. I am committed to running a race that is unifying, bringing people together, and I am committed to being a governor that once again puts Florida back on the right path. So the areas that we have real challenges in are public education system. And I am so proud, thank you for referencing, I was just endorsed by the Florida Education Association last week. Any educators in the room? Thank you, thank you. Our public education system has been under attack for the last 20 years. I'll tell you, I am doing work days, and thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. I don't know about that last one, though. I don't think that one's going to happen. No, wait a second. I know that one's not going to happen. I did a work day the day before that I announced that I was running for governor at Carroll City Senior High in Miami Gardens in South Florida. Now, Carroll City Senior High is a school that faces some unique challenges. And I walked in that morning with the students and the teachers and the administrators, and I spent a full day working side by side. I participated in a mock trial competition. The highlight of the day was when I worked in the cafeteria and I gave the students 8 chicken nuggets instead of 5. They loved me. They wanted to know if I could come back the next day. But I'll tell you, what so greatly that day was a student at the end of a long school day. He came up to me and he said, Miss Gwen, I have been at a D or an F school my whole life. My whole life. He said, I already feel like I can't achieve what I want to achieve in my life. And I knew at that moment that I was running for governor for that young man and for too many across the state of Florida who feel left behind by our education system. So I'm going to restore that commitment to that young man, that no matter where you live in Florida, you're going to have the support of an educational system that wants you to know that you can achieve your dreams, that you can do everything you want to do in your life. So we're going to do what needs to be done. We're going to end the high-stakes standardized testing culture that has taken over our schools. Because it is not providing what our educators need to help that young man and all others across the state of Florida to grow in their educational dreams. We're going to put education back in the hands of educators. We're going to end the grading of schools, because it's not grading. As that young man so aptly described to me, it is not grading, it is degrading. We're going to make sure that we provide the resources for our schools so that every school district can give teachers the raises that they deserve. Our teachers need to be paid above the national average. And it's going to take a governor that's committed to making sure that those resources get down to the school districts, all 67 school districts. And how are we going to do this? Everybody here remember the promise of the lottery dollars? Remember that? That the lottery was going to be used to enhance educational funding? Well, over the years, the overall budget in Tallahassee for our public schools has decreased almost 15%. When I'm governor, the day after the election on November 6th, I'm going to put together a group of Floridians who understand the budgetary process with me at the lead, and we're going to dig under every cushion, overturn every rug, and see where have the resources of the state of Florida been spent in the last 20 years. Because every single dime should be spent in the best interest of the people of Florida, and there is no better interest than supporting our public school system. So we will get there. We will get there. So this is a constant theme of the people of Florida not being listened to. You have the lottery dollars. You have Florida Forever. You have the recent medical marijuana. Florida Forever was put in place so we could protect our environment. Because once it's gone, you can't get it back. So the resources that were earmarked through our Constitution to be spent on restoring and preserving our sensitive lands and waters, what has happened in the last years? Those resources are swept. They're swept into the general revenue budget, and who knows where those resources are being spent. When I'm governor, we're going to be purchasing and protecting sensitive lands and waters for Floridians today and Floridians in the future. This is critical. It is critical for what is one of the biggest challenges and crises facing the state of Florida, rising sea levels. Guess what? We are a peninsula. So we are surrounded by water. And as a result, we are seeing threats from all around Florida with the rising sea levels. In South Florida, it's a water quality issue. Saltwater intrusion is affecting the clean water supply in South Florida. So we have got to be taking the steps necessary to decrease carbon emissions. We're going to ban fracking in Florida. We're going to ban drilling off of our beaches. We're going to make sure that Florida is doing our part, because we are ground zero for climate change. When you look on all these roofs, we need to have solar panels covering roofs across Florida. We need to make sure that we are breaking the lockhold that utility companies have that make it so expensive to even consider using solar energy. These are all important steps, because we want the companies that might look at Florida in the future to move here for our economy to not just think maybe Florida is somewhere we might consider going, but come to Florida. I hate to say it, because I'm always an optimistic person. I'm a glass half full, silver lining person. I don't think Amazon's going to pick Miami as their second headquarters. And the reason why is we're not providing the environment that they're looking for. They want a skilled workforce. They want a protected environment. They want to make sure we have health care provided for Floridians. They want to make sure we have an infrastructure in place where people aren't sitting on the roads. I spent a lot of time now south of I-4
And guess what? I spend a lot of time sitting in traffic. We have real infrastructure challenges across the state of Florida, so let's give the next Amazon. Let's give them what they want so we can grow our economy. We have a great tourism economy. We have a great agriculture economy. But we are going to have to grow our economy so that the jobs that we want to be here today and the jobs that we want to have here in the future, that we're providing what the employers are looking for. One of the ways we're going to do this is through technical training. When I was in Congress, I supported a piece of legislation, I sponsored it, that would have brought technical training into the middle school years. The fact of the matter is, we need to be grabbing these kids younger and younger, providing them the technical training and opportunities for that great job, making sure you have art, making sure you have music. I was a proud band mom. These are the things that make school exciting for kids. So let's provide that skilled workforce that they're looking for. Let's provide an environment that's protected. Let's increase and improve our non-discriminatory policies in the state of Florida. Let's make sure that we have an infrastructure that's supported for our economy. Let's make sure that Florida is growing and booming into the future. These are all commitments that we all know will make a difference for the state that we love. I was fortunate to be born in Miami, and I was raised until I was 15 when we moved here to Tallahassee. And I want to thank everybody here in this room, because when my dad was elected governor, here I was, kind of a geeky 15-year-old, moving from South Florida to North Florida, and the people at Leon High School and the people of North Florida embraced our family. And that is what the good feeling of North Florida, that's where it started for me. That's where it started for me. So as someone who never thought I would ever run for governor, this is the race. This is the race I was meant to run and win for the people of Florida, for all of the issues I just talked about, and so many more. But we all know this. We all know this. Change doesn't come unless you can get elected. And I am the only Democrat in this race who can win in November. The only Democrat. There's a reason why. If you look at the Republican Governors Association page, which candidate do they attack almost every day? Me. I take it as a badge of honor. Because they know that in November, we will win this election. And it's because, yes, in the state as large as Florida, you have to do well in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. You have to do well in the I-4 corridor. And as a matter of fact, that's where I live now. Thank you for letting me come and visit. My husband thanks you. My husband says he feels like I've been deployed. But you know where you win this election? North of Orlando. You win by being able to do better in the part of Florida where Democrats have not only just gotten beaten, but they have been destroyed in previous elections. So I stand before you, someone who never thought I would be running for anything, but I stand before you, a candidate to be the next governor of Florida, a candidate that will get elected, and a human being that is committed every single day from November 7th on to waking up every day and figuring out how do we get our state back on the right path. Because I love the state of Florida, and I love the people of Florida. And this state deserves to have a governor again that's working for you every day, and I will be that governor. Thank you. Thank you.